It is my privilege to welcome you all to the launch of the new enhanced foreign trade data dashboard. Let me briefly mention the distinctive aspects of this dashboard. It has been prepared in a very user-friendly manner. It has been prepared to function in a user-friendly manner and has been prepared to be very robust to enable access on a large scale by the public. These are the essential distinctive features of the dashboard. It covers data related to India's exports, imports, the trade deficit, and is amenable to analysis of all kinds across time, across space, across the ports from which our imports and exports happen. It can also generate growth figures across various dimensions of time and space, as I mentioned. And it's a path-breaking effort in making government data available to the public at large in a manner that is amenable to manipulation, analysis by all sort of classes of users, whether it's experts in the field of foreign trade or it's the common lay person. So the dashboard attempts to meet the requirements of all these classes of users and stakeholders. Of course, we all look forward to feedback from all of you, from all users, on what they feel about the dashboard. We welcome their suggestions and comments for improvement, and it's an ongoing process. As we get feedback, we continuously improve the dashboard, add features, add facilities that people want. So let me not say more at this time. Let me of course thank all of you for being here, and let me request Secretary IT to make her remarks.
Honorable Minister for Commerce, Smt Nirmala Sitharaman ji, DGFT Shri Anup Padawan, colleagues from the Commerce Ministry, and friends from the media. As you are aware, this is a major initiative to share information with stakeholders. In fact, just last month, the Ministry of Commerce under Madam's leadership had launched another major IT platform, the Government e-Marketplace. And the objective of that was to ensure that as far as possible, procurements in government could become very simple to the user, but also equally simple for the actual suppliers, so that they could both come on the same platform. This is a similar initiative where government is endeavoring to provide up-to-date information which will be used both by decision makers as well as the users, mainly the users, that is the importers and exporters, so that they can plan what is it that they are planning to do. I just want to underline two important points here. One is that as was mentioned by the DGFT and as Madam will be shortly launching, you will see that the whole idea is to bring as much information possible so that people can do various kinds of data tracking, trade tracking and data analytics. As he said, across time horizons, across commodities, across geographies. And the idea is also that once the public sees this and responds to it, we will also be continuously endeavoring to upgrade it and make it more and more user friendly. So with these few words, I must thank Madam, because I think it is only because of her she has actually been pursuing this project with tremendous focus to make sure that it is launched, today being an auspicious day. And on this occasion, I just want to say that the government of the Department of IT will be supporting and extending whatever assistance is necessary to the Ministry of Commerce to ensure that this dashboard continues to improve, enrich itself, and provide much more information and gradually become interactive as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request the Honorable Commerce and Industries Minister to launch the dashboard.
What do you want me to do?
Thank you, ma'am. I now request the Governor team to make a brief presentation on the dashboard.
Yeah, Honorable Minister and officials.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving opportunity Team Gramner to deliver this complex application. By no means it's a simple thing. We are looking at the data of almost like 7 GB spread across 200 countries, 320 commodities, and to have a view of over a period of monthly, yearly view, and to make it very simple and insightful for policymakers, researchers, as a layman, for them to understand the complex trade and the commerce, the data. So here we have made one effort to make it as simple as possible, where one could understand all the imports, which is what is the view, what you're looking at, and also go to the exports, look at all the commodities by ports, compare it by timeline, so on and so forth, and also the trade deficit, the balance of trade by countries. So let me just explain you like 3 or 4 salient features as a part of it. So here if you look at it, these are the import values by month or month. I have an option to select by timeline, look at by month. So I take in March. I have an ability to do a custom filter. Instead of month over month, I can go and select by a specific value for so and so forth, and then search for it, or search for a specific commodity. You can search for whatever commodities you would have it. By country, one can filter out by countries, whatever way they want to look into it, select it by ports and by various currencies. So in a simple fashion, one could understand, okay, if I look at it, these are my top commodities, what is coming in as a petroleum oils, which is my top imports, and the ports which is top for me is, the one which is Navas Sheva Seva, I think that's a top port. So where we are given the top and bottom, a quick insight, and then give it geography wise imports. So where am I importing? So I'm importing a lot from China, Russia, China, very minimal from these countries. That's a quick glance one has it. Now further splitting this by products. So all my various ports, where am I importing? If I look into it, so bulk of my others imports happening from Delhi air. Now if I want to look at all my petroleum imports happening by ports, that's an easy way. Now one really need not get the data, take into the Excel and analyze it out. You could go further and get all details down here, and then kind of look at my country. So if I look at a quick glance, these are my top countries from imports. What is current versus last year? So blue is a current. So I've already exceeded from China as compared to the last year, which is a good thing. Or how should policy be tweaked, how should country be looked into it, so and so forth. Now all this is interactive enough. I could click on, let's say, China, and this loads per China. So everything else comes as per China, what is coming in. Okay, so should not take so much time. Is it taking some time? Yeah, sorry. So this is per China. Now all the analysis becomes per China. So I'm taking a lot from cells, photovoltaic coming from China, and this is the port where I'm getting it. You could see all the values. Okay, and then now let me look at exports. What am I doing with China? So then everything else filter remains for China, and all the export comes in. So that's one way where one could analyze out by exports. Okay, likewise, what is my, let's assume if I knock off, now go and look at for balance of trades with China. Now if I knock off China, let's assume this is my balance of trade all across the globe. So one could kind of stay here and look at a simple view here. As we are seeing, my balance of trade is positive with US, okay, it's negative with China, and again showing these filters down here. If you look at it, left is import, right is export. Practically we are doing very minimal export from export to China. Bulk of it is import, whereas it's a positive from US. And it tells me of all the top 5 European countries, Switzerland is where I'm importing a lot, okay, of all the European countries. So the insights come out in an easy fashion. Look at trade performance. One could download the data if they want to play around with it. All the features are available. So that's what is a phase 1 of it. Thanks for giving us the opportunity. and we would, glad to take any feedback and improve further. Thank you, ma'am.
Is this at 8-digit level?
Yes. 8.
Thank you for the presentation. I think it has clearly brought out the distinctive features of the dashboard, and we hope to benefit from feedback as we go along. I would now request the Honorable Commerce and Industry Minister to make remarks.
Thank you. Thank you. Keeping in line with the Prime Minister's desire that the government has to now use technology maximum for information sharing, for bringing in transparency in decision making, and making it possible to reach out to the maximum number of people using real-time data. The Commerce Ministry has been taking a lot of steps to move in that direction. The Secretary was right in pointing out that we had launched earlier a hashtag, Ministry of Commerce and Industry Seva, MOCI Seva, through which for anyone who seeks clarification or anyone who wishes to complain about the functioning of the commerce and industry, the two departments, and also for seeking clarification about export and import, we had started this hashtag service using Twitter handle, and that's really borne a good impact, as a result of which today we are confident that we are able to directly address the issues faced by anybody who seeks information from us. The other reference which was made is about the GEM, which is the Government E-Market, GEM, which was launched by the DGSND purely because we want to be again transparent and bring in as many suppliers and as many government buyers to benefit from a transparent process. Of the over 150 items which are being purchased, for which rate contracts were fixed by the DGSND, today over 26 items are already on the GEM. We hope to, by at least March, cross 100 such commodities which are bought and sold, not necessarily sold, bought by government departments, to be done in a transparent manner. Again, use of technology for greater transparency. But most importantly, I thank Gramina for having done this very attractive, exhaustive, multi-layered and a very complex dashboard. And the complexity from the point of view of design, getting the software side of things, have all been beautifully designed by them. But I must put on record the excellent cooperation I've had from Secretary Deity. Absolutely worked under pressure, but did deliver on time and with all the compliances, due diligences to be followed, because it's after all a government data. One had to be sure that you're going to be able to do it with all the security consciousness, and the Deity has been of great help. Thanks purely, and I thank Secretary Soundararajan for having been so cooperative. If there was toil and labor from Gramina, there was equal toil and labor, but time-bound toil and labor from the department, and therefore the Commerce Ministry can say, because of the two factors coming together, we are able to launch a very vibrant, dynamic, real-time based data. Of course, at the moment it has a time lag, because customs has to give us the data. We have then got to temper it down and then temper it down in terms of fitting it into this framework. This framework, which is not just going to be available on the desktop, but it's also going to be mobile compliant. As a result, it has today a time lag, but sooner we hope to have it on real-time basis. I'm also grateful for all the Export Promotion Council's representatives who are here. It is the Export Promotion Councils which now, using the link that we've given, should be able to pass it on to pass this benefit, information bank benefit to all the exporters who are associated with your organizations through the media, the public, any discerning experts who would want to look at this data and interpret data. They don't have to go to from pillar to post to get the data. It's all out there. What is not there is probably not even existent. It is that exhaustive, and therefore It's going to help potential exporters, current exporters, importers. The councils can plan up what they want to do in terms of boosting sectoral export potential. And any researcher who wants to work on Indian export compared to many other countries can have it all in one place. This is by geographical areas, this is by commodity, it is by ports from where this is coming in or going out, and therefore there cannot be a more exhaustive export import dashboard than this. I'm very proud to say the three segments, in the sense Gramina, who's private, Deity, which is doing enormous work on making data transformation into digital, online and offline, Deity, Gramina and the Commerce Ministry, who have worked together to bring this and make it possible. I want the sectors, exporters to benefit from it, analysts to benefit from it, so that sooner this is going to be the instrument through which policy making happens more efficiently. I would like the media to certainly, first of all, thanking you all for your presence here in this great number, to write about what you found in this, to tell us about anything that you want us to improve on this, and make sure information reaches out to everybody so that this can be usefully exploited. Thank you.
Dashboard in entire Indian government.
No, there are dashboards in many other departments, but an exhaustive, complex, and almost real time is this one. We had done a preliminary launch in April 2001, but that was very, very rudimentary. This is absolutely exhaustive. That's the difference. That one was part of the DG C&I, Commercial Intelligence, but DG C&I through the Commerce Ministry has worked on this, and therefore that one gradually will be rediverting any user into this. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your very encouraging and comprehensive remarks. Let me also mention at this time that as we speak, the Export Promotion Councils, ITPO, IAFP and various other sister organizations of the department are making it accessible on their website, so that exercise should also be complete very soon. And now we have a short period for a few questions that the press would like to address to the Honorable Minister. So a few key questions on things which have not already been answered. Most things are addressed.
No, at the moment it is going to be the current year, and we are moving towards the future, adding on every month. The past 2-year data is available, but going backwards might take a bit of a time. So, in other words, a 3-year comparison on a dynamic mode will be available.
So, what is the lag between the actual data and the data that is, what is the disaggregated gap?
Actually, you see, DGCIS gets data from customs on a real-time basis from the EDI ports, and from the non-EDI ports it is obtained with some lag. Then the data is prone to a lot of errors, during the filing process by exporters and importers. Those errors have to be screened for and corrected. So right now there is a lag of 1 month or so in the release of our data. So the same lag is operating here. But as the Honorable Minister mentioned, we are attempting to address that lag, and we hope to eventually graduate as all our ports become EDI, and as we sort out the data issues through appropriate templates so that errors are not permissible in the sense when the data is right. As we graduate to that, the IceGate system, as you know, is also under upgradation. So as we graduate to that, we'll be working on a real-time basis eventually.
Also, by when would all the major ports be on EDI? And two, there were reports of some hacking into the customs network, and some some schemes being misused. So has DGFT also been affected by that?
I think there are some stray incidents which have been reported, and the IceGate authorities are looking into that. And right now, IceGate is under upgradation, I think, within this financial year largely, and to some extent, things might spill over a bit into the next financial year. But within this period, I think all these gaps would be addressed in the current financial year and the next. should be addressed.
And the EDI bits, major ports, how, by when do we be on?
See, the bulk of our imports and exports are already through EDI ports, EDI enabled. What is left out is very minimal in value. And that also, I think over the next couple of years, this financial year largely, and to some extent will spill over into the next financial year. Although the question will be better directed at the Department of Revenue, but this is my information.
मैडम चाइना से जो इतना बड़ा डेफिसिट है उसके लिए आगे का कुछ टाइम
आगे का
टाइमलाइन भी गवर्नमेंट ने तय किया कि कैसे कुछ करना है.
Well, it's a larger issue of what are the kind of goods which are coming in, which are the sectors which are importing. So to take a decision without taking on board the actual goods which are coming in, it might be difficult. Whilst I say this, I'm also making every effort to access the Chinese market much more, so that our exports to China increase.
Ma'am, what's your take on Chinese government saying that they want an FTA within the BRICS countries? It happened just before, the announcement comes before the BRICS summit in Goa.
Well, I have nothing to say on it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
But is India in favor of a FTA between BRICS countries?
Well, I've not even taken a call on it. Whether I'm favor or against doesn't arise. I've not even taken a call
How
on
do
it.
you look at it? How do you look at this idea?
Because I've heard him say, and that's how I look at it at the moment.
China is covered under RCEP.
Well, that's not yet over though. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Secretary.